Hello and welcome back to Pensioners Corner, the place where we bring you clear, reliable updates on pensions, benefits and financial matters that affect people across the United Kingdom. If you were born before 1961, today's update is one you'll want to listen to carefully. The Department for Work and Pensions, also known as the DWP, has been reviewing parts of the state pension system, and this review is leading to new payments being processed for certain pensioners this week and in the coming months. Now, before we begin, remember that not everyone will be affected, and there's no need for concern if you haven't received a letter or any contact from the DWP yet. The process is still ongoing and applies to specific groups of people who reached state pension age under the old system that existed before 2016. Let's go through what's happening, why it's happening, and what you can expect in the weeks ahead. The UK state pension has changed several times over the years. If you were born before 1961, it's quite likely that your pension was calculated under what's known as the old state pension system. This is different from the new state pension, which applies to people who reach state pension age after April 2016. Under the old system, pensioners often received a combination of the basic state pension and something called the additional state pension, which could come from schemes like the State Earnings Related Pension Scheme or the state second pension. The DWP has recently identified that in some cases people on the old system may not have received the full amount they were entitled to due to calculation or record errors. These errors were not new, but they've come to light again after a detailed review of payment data. That review found that some individuals had been underpaid, sometimes for quite a long time. The good news is that the government is taking steps to correct these errors, and many pensioners are already starting to receive the payments owed to them. To be clear, this is not a new scheme or a benefit increase, it's about correcting previous underpayments. If you are affected, you do not need to apply for anything. The DWP will contact you directly if your records show that you are owed money. You will never be asked to provide personal or bank details over the phone or through email because the DWP already holds that information from your existing pension account. Let's talk about who might be affected. There are a few main groups that have been highlighted in the review. One group includes married women whose pension should have increased when their husband reached state pension age. Under the old rules, a married woman could sometimes receive a pension based on her husband's national insurance record if it gave her a higher amount than her own. This was usually around 60% of the husband's basic pension. In many cases, the system did not automatically adjust the woman's pension when it should have, and that led to long-term underpayments. Another affected group includes widows and widowers. When one partner passes away, the surviving spouse can sometimes inherit a portion of their late partner's additional state pension. Unfortunately, due to administrative issues, some people never received this increase. The DWP is now correcting these cases and ensuring that surviving partners are paid what they were entitled to. People over the age of 80 are another group being checked carefully. When someone turns 80, they become eligible for a small increase known as the age addition, which is currently 25 pence per week. It's a small amount, but when investigators looked into missing age additions, they often found that other pension components had also been miscalculated. So these reviews are not just about the extra 25p, they're about ensuring that every element of a pension is accurate. Divorced individuals may also want to pay attention. In certain cases, people who divorced could have part of their ex-spouse's national insurance record considered in their own pension calculation. If that didn't happen correctly, there might be an adjustment due. Similarly, people who deferred their state pension when they first became eligible could also be affected. When you defer your pension, you should either receive higher weekly payments later or a one-off lump sum. Some of those calculations were not handled properly, and that's another area the DWP is reviewing. If you are one of the people affected, the DWP will send you a detailed letter. This letter will clearly explain what was wrong, how the correction has been calculated, and what amount is being repaid. It will also confirm that your future pension payments will now reflect the correct amount. Depending on your individual situation, this could mean an increase in your weekly pension or a one-time payment to make up for what was missed. The amount of backdated payment varies significantly from person to person. Some people may receive a few £100, while others could receive several £1,000. The size of the payment depends on how long the underpayment lasted and how much the weekly shortfall was. These corrections are being made automatically, so again, you don't need to apply. The DWP will get in touch directly if your case is part of this review. It's worth noting that this correction process is quite large and complex. The DWP has stated that it involves hundreds of thousands of pension records, which means it will take time to complete. Additional staff have been brought in to handle the reviews, and new systems are being used to ensure that these errors are properly fixed. So even if you haven't heard anything yet, it doesn't mean you won't. It may just take a bit longer for your case to be reviewed. If you believe you might be affected but haven't received any contact, there are steps you can take to double check. Start by reviewing your pension statements and any letters you've received from the DWP in recent years. Think about your marital history, for example, whether your spouse reached state pension age before you or whether you were widowed or divorced. If you spot anything that doesn't seem right, you can contact the pension service to ask them to review your situation. You'll need your national insurance number and some details about your pension, but the team will be able to guide you. Do keep in mind that phone lines can be busy, especially in the mornings, so you might find it easier to call later in the day. The DWP has set up special teams to handle these queries, but because there are so many cases being reviewed, patience will be needed as they work through the backlog. Another question many people have is about tax. If you receive a lump sum from the DWP, you might be wondering whether it will affect your tax position. In most cases, the DWP and HMRC handle this fairly. The payments are usually treated as if they were paid in the years they should have been, rather than all being taxed in the current year. That means you shouldn't suddenly find yourself in a higher tax bracket because of this correction. However, if you do receive a large sum, it might be a good idea to speak to a tax advisor or financial planner for personal advice, especially if you have other sources of income or benefits. For those who manage the affairs of someone who has passed away, it's also possible to claim backdated payments owed to that person. If you're the executor or administrator of an estate and you believe the deceased may have been underpaid, you can contact the pension service to check. Any arrears owed will usually be paid into the estate and distributed according to the will or legal process. This whole correction effort has been significant. The DWP has already paid out hundreds of millions of pounds and expects to pay much more as the review continues. Some estimates suggest the total amount could eventually reach over £1 billion. While it's unfortunate that these underpayments happened in the first place, the current process is a positive step towards ensuring fairness for those affected. If you receive a letter or a payment correction, make sure you read the documentation carefully. It will include all the information about how your pension was reviewed and what changes were made. Once your payment has been processed, your regular pension amount will also be adjusted going forward, ensuring that you receive the correct figure from now on. Even a small increase in your weekly pension can make a noticeable difference, especially during a time when everyday costs like energy and groceries are high. It's also important to stay alert for scams. Sadly, whenever government payments are being discussed, there are fraudsters who try to take advantage of the situation. The DWP will never call or email asking for your bank details or personal information. They already have your information on file. If you ever receive a suspicious message claiming to be from the DWP, do not respond. Report it through official channels and always verify directly using the contact details provided on the government's website. At Pensioners Corner, our goal is to help you stay informed so that you can make confident financial decisions. We always recommend checking official government sources such as gov.uk for the latest updates and guidance. We'll continue to monitor the progress of this review and keep you updated on any new announcements from the DWP. If you've recently received a letter or a payment correction, we'd love to hear your experience in the comments below. Sharing your story can help other viewers understand what to expect and what steps to take if they find themselves in a similar situation. It's often the shared experiences from real people that make these topics clearer and easier to navigate. Remember, this process is about ensuring fairness and accuracy. It's not something you need to apply for, and it doesn't require any special action unless you have specific concerns. The DWP's goal is to make sure every pensioner receives what they are legally entitled to, and that includes correcting mistakes from the past. You've worked hard throughout your life and contributed to the system through your national insurance payments. You deserve to receive the correct pension without errors or delays. While the review process might take time, it's reassuring to know that steps are being taken to fix issues that have affected people for years. Thank you for watching Pensioners Corner. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with anyone you think might benefit, especially older family members or friends who were born before 1961 and may not be aware of these updates. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates about pensions, benefits and financial support programs across the UK. We'll continue to follow this topic closely and provide trustworthy, easy-to-understand information every week. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay informed, and remember, knowledge about your pension is one of the best ways to protect your financial security in retirement.